100 Golden Age Actors Who Were Jews. Hollywood's golden age was a dazzling era filled with legendary actors who left an indelible mark on history. But here's something you might not know. Many of these iconic stars were Jewish. From hilarious comedians to commanding performers, their culture and faith deeply influenced their lives and careers. Today, we're uncovering the remarkable stories of these extraordinary talents and exploring how their Jewish heritage helped shape their identities. So, let's dive into the captivating world of Golden Age Hollywood and celebrate the legacy of these trailblazing stars. Let's dive into the life of the legendary Groucho Marx, the quick-witted comedy genius from Hollywood's Golden Age. Born Julius Henry Marx in 1890, Groucho came from a Jewish family of German descent. His parents, Sam and Minnie Marx, raised their children in a modest New York home, nurturing a deep appreciation for the arts. Although Groucho didn't strictly observe Judaism, he took immense pride in his heritage, weaving it into his humor with a clever and often self-deprecating charm that left audiences in stitches. Did you know that one of Hollywood's most iconic stars from the Golden Age, Kirk Douglas, was originally named Isser Danielovich? That's right. Douglas came from humble beginnings as the son of Jewish immigrants from Belarus. Growing up in an Orthodox Jewish household, his upbringing deeply influenced his values, even though he later moved away from religious practices. Douglas's big break came in the 1940s, and it wasn't long before he became a household name with legendary films like Spartacus and Paths of Glory. Despite his incredible fame, he never shied away from his Jewish heritage, often reflecting on it in his autobiography. Did you know that Ray Mala was one of Hollywood's earliest indigenous stars? Born in 1906 in Alaska, Mala had a unique heritage. His father was Jewish, and his mother was from the Inupiaq community. This remarkable blend of cultures shaped Mala's identity and brought a distinctive charm to his work. He rose to fame as the lead in Eskimo, 1933, the first feature film ever shot in Alaska, which later earned an Academy Award for Best Film Editing. What happens when you blend slapstick comedy with irresistible charm? You get the one and only Danny Kaye. Born David Daniel Kaminsky in 1911, Kaye grew up in Brooklyn as the son of Ukrainian Jewish immigrants. From a young age, his life was steeped in music, humor, and storytelling, qualities that would come to define his legendary career. With his impeccable comedic timing and extraordinary musical talent, Kaye captivated audiences in timeless classics like The Secret Life of Walter Mitty and White Christmas. Did you know Kevin McCarthy's career skyrocketed thanks to a sci-fi classic? The star of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956, had a fascinating heritage, a Jewish father and deep Irish Catholic roots. Raised Catholic, McCarthy never shied away from embracing the cultural diversity in his family background. With his smooth, commanding presence on screen, he proved to be a versatile talent, excelling everywhere from Broadway's bright lights to Hollywood's silver screen. Did you know Eli Wallach almost became a teacher before conquering Hollywood? Born in Brooklyn in 1915 to Polish Jewish immigrants, Wallach grew up speaking Yiddish at home, deeply rooted in his Jewish heritage. This connection to his culture shaped his identity, even as his career led him far from his community. Wallach's unforgettable performances in classics like The Good, The Bad and the Ugly and The Magnificent Seven solidified his status as a legend. Renowned for his ability to infuse even the most villainous characters with depth and humanity, Wallach left an indelible mark on cinema. Off-screen, he was a devoted family man who cherished his roots, often reflecting on how they instilled in him resilience and strength. Did you know that Paul Newman, yes, the blue-eyed heartthrob, was half Jewish? His father was Jewish, and while his mother was Catholic, Newman embraced Judaism throughout his life. His heritage deeply influenced his humanitarian efforts, particularly his philanthropic work through Newman's Own, a brand where 100% of the profits were donated to charity. Did you know Walter Matthau, the lovable grump from classics like The Odd Couple and Grumpy Old Men, had humble beginnings rooted in a Jewish family? Born Walter John Matthau, his parents were immigrants from Eastern Europe. His mother, Rose, a Lithuanian Jewish immigrant, raised him in a working-class neighborhood in New York City. Matthau's Jewish heritage deeply influenced his early years, especially his sharp sense of humor, something that would later become his signature trait. He began his career in Yiddish theater, honing his craft, before making his way to Broadway and eventually shining on the silver screen in Hollywood. Did you know this fun fact about Abe Vigoda? Best known for his iconic role as Salvatore Tessio in The Godfather, Vigoda was actually the son of Jewish immigrants from Russia. Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, he grew up in a close-knit Jewish community that deeply influenced his values and strong work ethic. While he often portrayed Italian-American characters on screen, Vigoda never lost touch with his Jewish roots. His remarkable ability to embody characters from diverse backgrounds showcased the depth of his talent and versatility as an actor. Rodney Dangerfield had audiences roaring with laughter, but did you know he was born Jacob Rodney Cohen to Jewish parents? His father was a vaudevillian performer, which might explain where Rodney inherited his gift for entertaining. Growing up on Long Island, Rodney's childhood was anything but easy, but he turned his sharp wit and self-deprecating humor into powerful tools for survival. His Jewish roots gave him a unique perspective on life, and his comedy often delved into themes of struggle and triumph. With iconic lines like, "I don't get no respect," Dangerfield became one of the most beloved comedians of all time, leaving an indelible mark on the world of comedy. Who doesn't know the legendary Stan Lee, the mastermind behind Marvel Comics? But what you might not know is that Stan Lee was born Stanley Martin Lieber, the son of Jewish immigrants from Romania. Raised in the bustling streets of New York City, Lee grew up in a Jewish household that instilled in him the values of storytelling, imagination, and resilience. He often credited his Jewish heritage as a driving force behind his creativity, inspiring iconic superheroes like Spider-Man, who embodied the struggles and triumphs of the everyday person. Did you know that Tony Curtis, the heartthrob from Some Like It Hot, was born Bernard Schwartz? That's right. Curtis was the son of Hungarian Jewish immigrants who made a new life in New York. Growing up in a tough Bronx neighborhood, Curtis often turned to movies as a way to escape the hardships of his early life. Despite Hollywood's tendency to push actors toward anglicized names and identities, Curtis proudly embraced his heritage. His journey from a struggling young man in the Bronx to one of the most iconic stars of Hollywood's golden age is a true testament to his grit and determination. Peter Sellers, the comedic mastermind behind the iconic Pink Panther films, carried a rich tapestry of heritage, including Jewish ancestry from his mother's side. Born into a family of entertainers, his upbringing was subtly influenced by his mother's Jewish roots. Sellers often drew upon this diverse background to craft the unforgettable characters that became hallmarks of his career. Though not deeply religious, Sellers embraced the cultural richness of his lineage, which added depth and authenticity to his work. His remarkable ability to mimic accents, embody diverse personas, and weave humor with profound insight showcased the resilience and adaptability often associated with his heritage. This unique blend of wit and vulnerability solidified his status as a beloved and timeless figure in cinematic history. Sammy Davis Jr.'s story is nothing short of extraordinary. Known as the Rat Pack's triple threat entertainer, Davis underwent a profound transformation after a near-fatal car accident in the 1950s. Born to African-American parents, he found himself deeply drawn to Judaism during his recovery, leading to his conversion. Embracing his new faith wasn't without its challenges, especially in an era rife with racial and religious prejudice. Yet, Davis remained unapologetically himself, often declaring with pride, "I'm a one-man black Jew." Jerry Lewis, the undisputed king of slapstick comedy, was born Joseph Litch to Jewish parents who were vaudeville performers. Growing up in a lively Jewish household, he developed a profound appreciation for family, humor, and resilience, qualities that would become the cornerstone of his legendary career. Lewis's Jewish identity often shone through in his work, whether in his impeccable comedic timing or the heartfelt depth of his performances in classics like The Nutty Professor. Off-screen, he was equally remarkable, dedicating himself to philanthropy and raising millions for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Don Rickles, famously known as the Merchant of Venom, was born to Jewish parents in Queens, New York. Renowned for his sharp wit and rapid-fire insults, he became a true comedy legend. But beneath the biting humor was a heart full of love and camaraderie. Rickles' Jewish heritage played a significant role in shaping his comedic style, particularly his remarkable ability to connect with audiences from all walks of life. He often embraced self-deprecating humor about his background, using it as a powerful tool to break down barriers and bring people together. When it comes to blending humor with heritage, no one does it quite like Mel Brooks. Born Melvin Kaminsky to Jewish immigrants from Eastern Europe, Brooks grew up in Brooklyn, where his comedic brilliance began to shine. He masterfully wove his Jewish identity into his work, from The Producers to History of the World, Part 1. Fearless in tackling taboo subjects, Brooks used sharp satire to confront anti-Semitism and celebrate Jewish culture, leaving a legacy of laughter with a meaningful message. Did you know that Jerry Stiller, the beloved comedy icon, was the son of Polish and Austrian Jewish immigrants? Born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, Stiller grew up in a culturally rich Jewish household that greatly influenced his unique sense of humor. Best known for his unforgettable roles as Frank Costanza on Seinfeld and Arthur Spooner on The King of Queens, Stiller's comedic timing was nothing short of legendary. His Jewish heritage wasn't just a backdrop to his life, it was a core part of his identity and comedy. He masterfully brought his characters to life with exaggerated yet heartfelt portrayals of Jewish fathers, leaving audiences laughing and relating for generations. Peter Falk, the legendary actor best known for portraying the rumpled yet brilliant Detective Columbo, was born to a Jewish mother and a Catholic father. While his family wasn't particularly religious, Falk deeply identified with his Jewish heritage and often spoke about his strong cultural connection. His grandparents were Jewish immigrants from Russia and Poland, bringing a rich tapestry of history and tradition to his family's story. Falk's acting career skyrocketed in the 1960s and 1970s, with his portrayal of Columbo cementing him as a cultural icon. Despite his fame, Peter remained humble and grounded, never losing sight of his roots. Serge Gainsbourg, the enigmatic French musician and actor, was born Lucien Ginsburg to Russian Jewish parents who fled to France seeking refuge from anti-Semitism. Growing up in a Jewish household, Serge faced the harsh realities of World War II, including the painful experience of wearing the Yellow Star of David as a child in Nazi-occupied France. Known for his provocative music and bold personality, Gainsbourg's Jewish identity subtly wove its way into his art. Songs like Aux Arms et Kitara, infused with reggae and politically charged themes, showcased his defiance, creativity, and fearless approach to breaking boundaries. Martin Landau, the Oscar-winning actor celebrated for his roles in Ed Wood and Mission Impossible, hailed from a Jewish family in Brooklyn, New York. His parents, Austrian and Polish immigrants, instilled in him a deep sense of cultural identity. Landau's career began in an unexpected place, working as a cartoonist, before he transitioned to acting, training at the Actors Studio alongside stars like James Dean. While Landau rarely spoke publicly about his Jewish faith, his heritage was an integral part of his identity. The iconic Captain Kirk himself, William Shatner, was born to Jewish parents in Montreal, Canada. His grandparents were Jewish immigrants from Eastern Europe, and his upbringing was steeped in Jewish traditions. Although Shatner doesn't often highlight his religion, he has expressed pride in his heritage. After achieving global fame with Star Trek, Shatner became a symbol of innovation and exploration. Values deeply aligned with the Jewish traditions of perseverance and discovery. Leonard Nimoy, beloved for his portrayal of Spock in Star Trek, was born to Ukrainian Jewish immigrants in Boston. Growing up, his Orthodox Jewish parents spoke Yiddish at home, immersing him in the rich culture of his heritage. The famous Vulcan salute? It was inspired by a Jewish priestly blessing, subtly weaving his background into the fabric of his character. Nimoy's connection to Judaism remained profound throughout his life, influencing his photography, poetry, and artistic vision, which often explored Jewish themes. Gene Wilder, born Jerome Silberman, was the son of Russian Jewish immigrants who nurtured his love for storytelling and humor from a young age. Growing up in Milwaukee, he was surrounded by the richness of Jewish traditions and values, which subtly informed his work. From Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory to Young Frankenstein, Wilder's comedic genius was unmatched. While he didn't strictly practice religion, he proudly identified as culturally Jewish, cherishing the heritage that shaped his life and career. Larry King, the legendary talk show host, was born Lawrence Zeiger in Brooklyn, New York, to Jewish immigrants from Belarus. Raised in a working-class Jewish neighborhood, King's early life was deeply influenced by traditional values and a love of storytelling. With his signature suspenders and soothing voice, King became one of the most recognized and respected figures in broadcasting, bringing authenticity and charm to every conversation. Alan Arkin, the versatile actor known for Little Miss Sunshine and The Russians Are Coming, grew up in a Jewish family in Brooklyn. Born to Russian Jewish immigrants, Arkin's heritage profoundly influenced his life and work. His progressive-minded parents fostered a love for music and theater from an early age. While Arkin often avoided discussing religion in public, the intellectual depth and nuance he brought to his roles reflected his upbringing in a family that valued education and the arts. Marty Feldman, the comedic genius with those unforgettable googly eyes, stands out as one of the most remarkable Jewish actors from Hollywood's golden age. Born in London to Jewish immigrants from Kiev, Feldman's upbringing in a working-class Jewish neighborhood profoundly shaped his sharp wit and unique perspective on life. His career-defining moment came with Young Frankenstein, where his portrayal of the hilariously offbeat Igor cemented his status as a comedy icon. Feldman's Jewish identity, paired with his love of satire, made him a master of humor that transcended cultural boundaries and connected with audiences worldwide. Jerry Orbach, best known for his role as Detective Lenny Briscoe on Law & Order, was born to a Jewish mother and a Catholic father. Growing up in a culturally diverse household, Orbach often embraced his mother's Jewish heritage, crediting it for his deep appreciation of storytelling, a skill he brought to every role. Beyond his iconic television career, Orbach shone on Broadway, starring in musicals like Cabaret and Chicago, which often explored themes of identity and struggle. His ability to seamlessly blend charm with emotional depth made him one of the most beloved Jewish actors of his era. Woody Allen, born Alan Stewart Koenigsberg, is undeniably one of the most iconic Jewish figures in Hollywood. Growing up in Brooklyn in a Jewish household that balanced tradition with a modern American outlook, Allen's cultural roots profoundly influenced his work. His films, from Annie Hall to Manhattan, often serve as reflections of his heritage, exploring themes of neurosis, relationships, and existential questions, all delivered with his signature Jewish humor. His characters blend intellectualism with cultural quirks, creating a distinct voice in cinema. Allen's legacy demonstrates how Jewish identity can enrich storytelling and resonate deeply with audiences around the globe. Michael Landon, born Eugene Maurice Orowitz, was the son of a Jewish mother and a Catholic father. Despite growing up in a household with mixed religious influences, Landon embraced his Jewish identity, which played a significant role in shaping his career in Hollywood. Known for iconic roles in Bonanza and Little House on the Prairie, Landon became a household name. However, few realize how deeply his heritage influenced his storytelling. His mother's struggles as a Jewish immigrant inspired many of the family-centered themes in his work. Through his shows, Landon championed values like resilience, acceptance, and compassion, hallmarks of his upbringing. Behind the scenes, he took pride in his roots and frequently supported Jewish charities, ensuring his cultural heritage remained a central part of his legacy. Dustin Hoffman, the powerhouse actor behind classics like The Graduate and Rain Man, comes from a Jewish family with roots in Kiev, Ukraine. Raised in Los Angeles, Hoffman grew up listening to the stories of his immigrant grandparents, which he credits for adding emotional depth to his acting. His Jewish identity has often influenced his career choices, leading him to roles that explore themes of identity, struggle, and redemption. While not overtly religious, Hoffman has spoken about how his heritage has helped him understand both himself and the characters he portrays. His success in Hollywood is a testament to his remarkable talent and the enduring strength of his cultural roots. Elliot Gould, with his distinctive voice and quirky charm, was one of the few openly Jewish actors to embrace his heritage during Hollywood's golden age. Born in Brooklyn to Jewish parents, Gould's upbringing in a close-knit Jewish community shaped both his career and personal life. He rose to fame with memorable roles in MASH * and The Long Goodbye, often portraying characters marked by wit and vulnerability, qualities that reflected his own life experiences. Gould's humor and candid pride in his Jewish roots made him a relatable and beloved figure for audiences. Even today, he remains a passionate advocate for his cultural identity. Harvey Keitel, celebrated for his gritty performances in Taxi Driver and Reservoir Dogs, grew up in a Jewish family in Brooklyn. His parents, Polish Jewish immigrants and Holocaust survivors, instilled in him a deep sense of resilience that profoundly shaped his life and career. Keitel gravitated toward roles that delved into moral complexities and human struggles, themes deeply tied to his upbringing. Though not overtly religious, he has spoken about the influence of his Jewish heritage on his craft, particularly in portraying nuanced, multifaceted characters. Keitel's journey from Brooklyn to Hollywood is a powerful story of perseverance, pride, and an unyielding connection to his roots. When you think of James Caan, his tough guy roles like Sonny Corleone in The Godfather likely come to mind. But did you know Caan came from a Jewish family in the Bronx? His father was a butcher, and his Jewish upbringing instilled a strong work ethic that defined his life. Though not overtly religious, Caan took pride in his heritage, often joking that his Jewish identity gave him the grit to survive in Hollywood. He embraced his culture while dedicating himself to creating iconic performances. Whether portraying mobsters or cowboys, his heritage was an intrinsic part of who he was. Neil Diamond, the legendary voice behind Sweet Caroline, grew up in Brooklyn as the son of Jewish parents. His grandparents were Eastern European immigrants whose stories of resilience and hardship deeply influenced his songwriting. Themes of hope and perseverance shaped his music, reflecting his Jewish upbringing. Over a decades-long career, Diamond became one of the best-selling musicians of all time. His cultural roots stayed with him. He even performed in Israel during his tours, showing his deep connection to his heritage. A true musical icon, Diamond carried his identity with pride. Born Robert Zimmerman in Duluth, Minnesota, Bob Dylan's Jewish roots are a fundamental part of his incredible journey. As the son of Ukrainian Jewish immigrants, Dylan grew up steeped in tradition. True to his rebellious nature, he sought to forge his own path, both musically and spiritually. While famously exploring Christianity during the 1970s, Dylan never abandoned his Jewish identity. He later returned to his faith, celebrating Jewish holidays and attending synagogue. Dylan's life story is a testament to how culture and spirituality shape an artist's journey. David Warner, born in Manchester, carried Jewish ancestry on his father's side. He faced a challenging upbringing but found solace in theater and the arts. Although Warner rarely spoke publicly about his Jewish heritage, it influenced his empathetic and nuanced acting. His ability to portray deeply layered characters may well have been rooted in the resilience of his ancestry. As one half of the legendary duo Simon and Garfunkel, Paul Simon's music is a masterclass in introspection and cultural storytelling. Raised in Queens, New York, in a Jewish family with Hungarian roots, Simon grew up in a household rich in musical influence. Both his parents were musicians. His heritage subtly infused his lyrics, from themes of spirituality to a lifelong quest for identity. Iconic songs like The Sound of Silence and Bridge Over Troubled Water reflect the depth of an artist profoundly connected to his roots. Art Garfunkel also grew up in a Jewish household in Queens, nurtured by the rich traditions of his Romanian Jewish ancestry. His angelic voice brought a spiritual quality to Simon and Garfunkel's music, and his upbringing added emotional depth to his performances. Vocal about the importance of family and heritage, Garfunkel is not only a musical legend but a cultural icon who wears his roots with pride. Harrison Ford, the ruggedly handsome star of Star Wars and Indiana Jones, has a mixed heritage. His mother was Jewish. Though Ford wasn't raised religiously, he's proud of his Jewish ancestry. His maternal grandparents were immigrants from Belarus, bringing a rich cultural history that shaped the Ford family. Ford has spoken about his roots, especially in the context of playing characters who stand for justice and resilience. Whether piloting the Millennium Falcon or seeking ancient artifacts, his heritage adds an extra layer of depth to his persona. Stanley Kamel, best known for his role as Dr. Kroger on Monk, was a proud Jewish actor born in New Jersey. Raised in a close-knit Jewish household, Kamel developed a strong sense of family and community. His heritage influenced the warmth and relatability he brought to his roles, making his characters feel authentic and compassionate. Though he left us too soon, Kamel's legacy lives on in his heartfelt performances that resonated deeply with audiences. Paul Michael Glaser, best known as the star of Starsky and Hutch, was born into a Jewish family in Massachusetts. His cultural roots were a profound influence throughout his life, both personally and professionally. This heritage even inspired his direction of the film The Running Man, which delved into themes of justice and resistance, concepts deeply tied to his upbringing. Glaser's activism, particularly his work in HIV/AIDS awareness, reflected the Jewish value of tikkun olam, or repairing the world. His life and career exemplify the strength and resilience of his cultural background. Dubbed the king of catchy tunes, Barry Manilow grew up in Brooklyn, the son of Jewish parents with Russian roots. Originally born Barry Allen Pincus, he changed his name early in his career but remained deeply connected to his heritage. Manilow's music often carries themes of hope and emotion, which he credits to his upbringing. Hits like Mandy and Copacabana made him a global sensation, but the Jewish values of hard work and perseverance remain central to his success. Wallace Shawn, celebrated for his unforgettable voice and quirky roles, comes from a deeply intellectual Jewish family. His father, William Shawn, was the esteemed editor of The New Yorker, and his family practiced Reform Judaism. Shawn's unique approach to acting, showcased in classics like The Princess Bride and My Dinner with Andre, reflects his intellectual upbringing and cultural heritage. Though he seldom discusses his religion publicly, his Jewish roots have shaped his worldview, influencing his satirical takes on society. Whether stealing scenes with his iconic Inconceivable line or penning thought-provoking plays, Shawn's heritage adds depth to his multifaceted career. Jeffrey Tambor, beloved for his roles in Arrested Development and Transparent, hails from a Hungarian Jewish family in San Francisco. Growing up in a conservative Jewish household, Tambor's upbringing emphasized education and culture, which undoubtedly contributed to his sharp comedic timing and dramatic prowess. His connection to his heritage has been a guiding force throughout his career. While he's brought laughter to countless audiences, his Emmy-winning portrayal of Morab Pfefferman in Transparent also shed light on themes of identity and acceptance, issues resonant with his Jewish roots. The late Richard Belzer, best known as Detective John Munch from Law & Order, SVU, had a strong connection to his Jewish heritage. Born into a Jewish family in Bridgeport, Connecticut, Belzer's sharp wit and sardonic humor often reflected his cultural background. His comedic career was steeped in observational humor, a hallmark of Jewish storytelling. Though he rarely spoke openly about religion, his work often carried subtle nods to his roots. Beyond comedy and crime dramas, Belzer's Jewish identity remained an undercurrent in his life and art, making him a beloved figure across generations. Michael Douglas, the son of iconic Jewish actor Kirk Douglas, has a fascinating relationship with his Jewish heritage. Although his mother was not Jewish, Michael embraced his father's faith, especially in his later years. His Jewish identity became more prominent after marrying Catherine Zeta-Jones, and together, they've raised their children with strong ties to Jewish traditions. A Hollywood powerhouse, Douglas starred in hits like Wall Street and Fatal Attraction, but his contributions extend far beyond the screen. He has been a vocal supporter of Jewish causes, including efforts to combat anti-Semitism. His journey is a testament to how embracing one's heritage can shape both personal and public life. Comedy legend Harold Ramis, renowned for Ghostbusters and Groundhog Day, grew up in a traditional Jewish household in Chicago. His parents instilled a deep sense of cultural pride, and his humor often reflected the sharp wit and self-awareness characteristic of Jewish comedy. Ramis didn't shy away from his roots, often weaving Jewish themes into his work, whether subtly or overtly. His comedic genius and cultural awareness earned him a lasting place in Hollywood and in the hearts of fans worldwide. Ramis once remarked, "Jewish humor is about being able to laugh at your troubles," a philosophy that defined both his life and legacy. Henry Winkler, best known for his iconic role as Fonzie in Happy Days, grew up as the son of Jewish immigrants who fled Nazi Germany. His parents' harrowing escape is a testament to resilience, and their journey profoundly shaped Winkler's upbringing and career. He often attributes his Jewish heritage to his strong work ethic and empathetic nature. Beyond acting, Winkler is a children's author and a passionate advocate for dyslexia awareness. His storytelling consistently reflects the values of kindness and perseverance, a tribute to his heritage. From his early days as the Fonz to his success as an Emmy-winning star, Winkler continues to inspire fans of all backgrounds. Martin Kove, famously known as the tough-as-nails sensei John Kreese in The Karate Kid, has Jewish roots that many fans may not know about. Born and raised in Brooklyn to a Jewish family, Kove grew up surrounded by the values of hard work and discipline. While he's made a career portraying villains, his off-screen persona is strikingly different, warm, proud of his heritage, and deeply reflective of his upbringing. His resilience, shaped by his roots, has helped him thrive in the challenging world of Hollywood. Though his portrayal of Kreese is legendary, it's Kove's authenticity and grit that truly define him. Oliver Stone, the celebrated filmmaker behind classics like Platoon and Wall Street, shares a Jewish connection through his mother, who was of French-Jewish descent. Although Stone's upbringing was largely secular, his work often explores themes of identity, morality, and history, ideas deeply reflective of Jewish cultural introspection. By blending his diverse heritage with his unique experiences, Stone creates films that challenge societal norms and provoke thought. Whether delving into war, politics, or the human condition, his Jewish lineage adds a rich layer of complexity to his career as one of Hollywood's most influential directors. Eugene Levy, the beloved star of Schitt's Creek, was raised in a traditional Jewish household in Hamilton, Ontario. His parents instilled in him a strong sense of cultural pride and humor, traits that have defined his decades-long career in comedy. From his unforgettable role in American Pie to his Emmy-winning performance in Schitt's Creek, Levy has embraced his roots every step of the way. A proud advocate for Jewish culture, Levy often uses his platform to celebrate his heritage. With his signature brows and impeccable comedic timing, he's become an enduring symbol of Jewish representation in Hollywood. Did you know that Steven Spielberg, the visionary behind some of Hollywood's most legendary films, grew up in an Orthodox Jewish family? Born in Cincinnati, Ohio, Spielberg's roots trace back to Ukraine. His Jewish upbringing profoundly influenced his life and work, most notably in films like Schindler's List, which brought the horrors of the Holocaust to the forefront of global consciousness. As a child, Spielberg faced anti-Semitism, which often left him feeling like an outsider. Yet, instead of being held back, he transformed those experiences into stories that celebrate humanity and resilience. Spielberg's commitment to preserving Jewish history is evident in his founding of the USC Shoah Foundation, ensuring that Holocaust survivors' testimonies endure for future generations. His faith and heritage remain central to his extraordinary life and career. Richard Lewis, the comedic genius celebrated for his neurotic humor, was born into a Jewish family in Brooklyn, New York. His sharp wit and self-deprecating style often reflect the quirks of Jewish culture. Lewis credits his upbringing for shaping his comedic voice, giving him the ability to turn life struggles into punchlines. His work on Curb Your Enthusiasm, alongside Larry David, introduced Jewish humor to a global audience. Behind the scenes, Lewis has always embraced his roots, even as he hilariously navigates the challenges of growing up in a traditional Jewish household. Larry David, the mastermind behind Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm, draws deeply from his Jewish heritage to craft his iconic humor. Born in Brooklyn to a Jewish family, David's upbringing laid the foundation for his everyman persona. His comedy captures the everyday nuances of Jewish life, from family quirks to societal expectations. Whether poking fun at religious traditions or spotlighting cultural norms, David's work is infused with a deep connection to his roots. The famous High Holidays episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm showcases his unique ability to embrace and humorously critique Jewish customs. Kevin Kline, a versatile actor with a distinguished career, was born to a Jewish father and a Catholic mother. Though he didn't grow up practicing Judaism, his father's heritage remains an integral part of his identity. Known for his roles in films like A Fish Called Wanda, Kline's charm and humor often reflect his multicultural background. While not overtly tied to his Jewish roots, he has supported Jewish causes and takes pride in his family's history. Kline's work resonates universally, but his heritage adds an extra layer of depth to his story. Richard Dreyfuss, the star of classics like Jaws and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, grew up in a Jewish household in Brooklyn, New York. His family's roots trace back to Eastern Europe, and Dreyfuss has often credited his heritage for shaping his values and worldview. A passionate advocate for Jewish causes and education, he founded the Dreyfuss Civics Initiative to promote civic engagement. His career and activism reflect how deeply his Jewish identity influences him, both on and off the screen. Gérard Darmon, one of France's most beloved actors, was born to Sephardic Jewish parents from Algeria. His upbringing in a traditional Jewish household gave him a unique perspective, which he brings to his roles in French cinema. Known for his charisma and versatility, Darmon has starred in numerous films, including The Closet. He openly celebrates his heritage, often highlighting the importance of preserving Jewish culture in modern France. Darmon's career bridges cultural divides while staying deeply rooted in his Jewish identity. Billy Crystal, the comedic icon of stage and screen, grew up in a close-knit Jewish family in Long Beach, New York. His father owned a record store, exposing Crystal to the worlds of jazz and showbiz from a young age. His Jewish heritage shines through in his humor, particularly in his impersonations and family anecdotes. From hosting the Oscars to starring in When Harry Met Sally, Crystal has always proudly celebrated his roots. His one-man show, 700 Sundays, beautifully captures his Jewish upbringing and the profound bond he shared with his family. Louis Black, the king of rant, was born to a Jewish family in Maryland. Known for his biting, sharp humor, Black frequently draws on his upbringing to highlight life's absurdities. His comedy, filled with outrage and wit, reflects a worldview shaped by Jewish values like education and justice. While his humor is brash, his pride in his heritage adds depth and relatability to his work, making him a powerful voice in modern comedy. Andy Kaufman, the enigmatic comedian and performance artist, hailed from a Jewish family in New York. Known for his unconventional, boundary-pushing acts, Kaufman's Jewish heritage served as a subtle backdrop to his groundbreaking work. While he rarely addressed his faith directly, his relentless creativity and dedication to his craft echoed his family's values. Kaufman's unique blend of cultural influences made him one of the most distinctive and fascinating performers of his time. Victor Garber, the renowned actor and singer, was born into a Jewish family in Ontario, Canada. Best known for his iconic roles in Titanic and Alias, Garber's undeniable talent and charisma have made him a beloved figure in Hollywood. He has often shared how his Jewish upbringing instilled in him a deep sense of community and resilience. His remarkable career reflects those values, seamlessly blending artistry with authenticity. Gene Simmons, the legendary bassist of Kiss, was born Chaim Witz in Haifa, Israel, to Hungarian Jewish parents. His mother, a Holocaust survivor, had a profound impact on his perspective on life. After moving to the United States, Simmons embraced both his Jewish heritage and his rock star persona. He has proudly spoken about his roots and even visited Israel to reconnect with his culture. His inspiring journey is a testament to the power of combining tradition with modern success. Al Jolson was a legendary Jewish entertainer whose electrifying stage presence and groundbreaking performances defined Hollywood's golden age. Celebrated as the world's greatest entertainer, he revolutionized the film industry with a jazz singer, introducing synchronized sound to cinema. Beyond film, Jolson inspired countless artists and captivated audiences worldwide. His dedication to entertaining troops during wartime highlighted his deep connection with people. Jolson's legacy endures, even after his passing in 1950 from a heart attack following a performance for American soldiers in Korea. Ed Wynn was a beloved Jewish comedian and actor known for his whimsical humor and timeless comedic style. He rose to fame in the Ziegfeld Follies and later created his own show, The Perfect Fool, charming audiences for decades. In the 1950s and 1960s, Wynn gained further acclaim with memorable roles, including the delightful Uncle Albert in Mary Poppins. He continued performing until his passing in 1966 at the age of 79, leaving behind a legacy of laughter and joy in Hollywood. Harpo Marx, an iconic member of the Marx Brothers, was instantly recognizable for his curly red hair, top hat, and silent comedic charm. While his on-screen antics often involved chasing women, off-screen, he was a devoted husband and father. A self-taught harpist, Harpo's musical performances added depth to his comedy, creating a unique blend of humor and heartfelt artistry. His work made him a standout figure during Hollywood's golden age, earning him a cherished place in entertainment history. Leslie Howard was a distinguished English actor whose refined, intellectual demeanor captivated audiences on stage and screen. Best known for his portrayal of Ashley Wilkes in Gone with the Wind, Howard also contributed to the war effort through film production and broadcasts. Tragically, his life was cut short in 1943 when his plane was shot down during World War II. Despite this untimely end, Howard's thoughtful and talented performances continue to leave a lasting impression. Edward G. Robinson was one of Hollywood's most iconic actors, famed for his portrayal of tough gangsters. Behind the scenes, he was a cultured man with a passion for fine art. His breakout role as Rico in Little Caesar set the standard for gangster films, but Robinson's versatility extended far beyond that genre. From dramas to biographical films, he consistently showcased his remarkable range. Posthumously awarded an honorary Oscar in 1973 for Lifetime Achievement, Robinson remains a towering figure in cinematic history. Jack Benny was a comedic legend whose impeccable timing and witty humor made him a household name. Beginning in vaudeville, he achieved even greater success with the Jack Benny program, which delighted audiences on radio and television. His signature violin playing and long-running comedic feud with Fred Allen became cultural staples. Benny's warmth and humor influenced generations of comedians, solidifying his place as a pioneer in the world of entertainment. Bert Lahr, best remembered as the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz, was a versatile Jewish entertainer who thrived in burlesque, vaudeville, and Broadway. Dropping out of high school at 15, Lahr rose through the Columbia burlesque circuit before making his mark on Broadway with comedic routines like The Song of the Woodman. Despite his stage success, his film career was modest. Lahr passed away in 1967, but his unforgettable performances continue to resonate with audiences. George Burns was a legendary comedian, actor, and author celebrated for his timeless charm and razor-sharp wit. He gained fame alongside his wife Gracie Allen in their iconic comedy duo and later earned an Academy Award for his role in The Sunshine Boys. Spanning vaudeville, radio, television, and film, Burns captivated audiences well into his 90s, cementing his place as a comedy icon. He passed away in 1996 at the remarkable age of 100. As the leader of the Three Stooges, M.O. Howard became synonymous with slapstick comedy. Launching his career in silent films, he co-founded the legendary comedy act with his brothers, starring in 190 shorts and over 250 films during a 66-year career. Moe's fiery on-screen persona and dedication to the craft made him an enduring figure in entertainment history. He passed away in 1975. Martin Miller was a Czech-Austrian actor revered for his nuanced portrayals in film and theater. Known for playing intellectual or authoritative figures, he left a lasting impression on European and British cinema with his subtle yet powerful performances. Miller passed away in 1969, leaving behind a legacy of excellence in acting. Lee Strasberg revolutionized American theater with his adaptation of method acting. As the director of the Actors Studio starting in 1950, he mentored acting legends like Marlon Brando and Al Pacino. Strasberg also appeared on screen, most notably as Hyman Roth in The Godfather Part 2. His profound influence on acting techniques remains unmatched. He passed away in 1982. Larry Fine, a beloved comedian, was an integral part of the Three Stooges. Starting in vaudeville, he joined Moe and Curly Howard to form the iconic trio known for their slapstick humor. Appearing in over 200 films, Larry's career spanned decades until a stroke ended his work in 1970. He remains a comedy legend to this day. Dan Hedaya is a versatile actor celebrated for his dynamic range, from playing villains to comedic roles. He rose to prominence as Nick Tortelli in Cheers and its spin-off, while also delivering memorable performances on Broadway and in dramatic films. Hedaya's wide-ranging talent has secured his place as a familiar and respected figure in Hollywood. Peter Lorre, a Hungarian Jewish actor, gained international acclaim for his chilling performance as a child killer in M. 1931, and his unforgettable roles in Hollywood classics like Casablanca and The Maltese Falcon. After fleeing Nazi Germany, Lorre built a stellar career in Hollywood, often portraying villains and enigmatic characters. His expressive eyes and distinct voice made him an unforgettable screen presence. He passed away in 1964 from a stroke. Charles Grodin was a gifted actor and comedian known for his deadpan humor and standout roles in films like The Heartbreak Kid and Beethoven. He charmed audiences on Broadway and became a witty presence on television as a talk show host and guest. Grodin's impeccable comedic timing and charisma made him a beloved Hollywood figure. He passed away in 2021 at age 86 from bone marrow cancer. Otto Preminger was a trailblazing Jewish-American director renowned for breaking Hollywood norms. His films, including Laura, Anatomy of a Murder, and Exodus, tackled bold and controversial subjects like racism and drug addiction. As one of the first independent producer-directors in Hollywood, Preminger's daring storytelling reshaped cinema. He passed away in 1986 from lung cancer and Alzheimer's disease.